Well, what about Shepard? She's a spacer, lived aboard starships most of her life.
Military service runs in the family. Both her parents were in the Navy.
She saw her whole unit die on a cruise. She could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
After their triumphant game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic shocked and awed RPG fans on the Xbox back in 2003, it was pretty clear that developer BioWare was destined to create their own universe, and they've certainly done this with Mass Effect. The game is a futuristic sci-fi RPG and should really be classified as an action RPG, since the emphasis on real-time combat is a little heavier here than most fans of the genre are probably accustomed. Mass Effect is set some 200 years from now, a future in which mankind has discovered ancient alien technology that allows interstellar space travel and a number of other phenomenal advancements. It just so happens that almost every other alien race in the galaxy have discovered and used this ancient technology along the same lines as humanity, and after some initial tension, humans are reluctantly accepted into the civilized races of the galaxy. You assume the role of Commander Shepard, an elite human soldier who is whoever you want him or her to be. Shepard is ordered to track down a rogue agent named Saren in order to stop him from fulfilling his dark agenda. Any good story is never that simple though, and the story in Mass Effect has more than a few surprises lying in wait. Unlike a lot of games, and even a lot of RPGs, you have a direct contribution to everything from the origin of your character to the outcome of the story. The character creation system doesn't exactly achieve Oblivion levels of complexity, but it still offers you enough options to make your Commander Shepard look like the missing link, or the girl who works at GameStop. You can also choose Shepard's background, family origins, and military history right from the start, and based on your choices, people will treat you differently. How you treat them is also entirely up to you.
My voice must be heard!
Oh my god! What did you do?
That might have been a little extreme, Commander.
It would be impossible to list everything positive about Mass Effect in an 8 or 9 minute review, but the story certainly stands out as the best of the bunch. The storytelling here is incredible, with some very good writing, clever dialogue, and particularly solid voice acting.
Great. You pissed the captain off and now I'm gonna pay for it.
Don't blame me. The captain's always in a bad mood.
Only when he's talking to you, Joker.
He sounds angry. Something must have gone wrong with the mission.
Captain always sounds like that when he's talking to me.
Can't possibly imagine why.
The branching dialogue system allows you to choose how you respond and what you learn from each character you meet. Every conversation is brisk and entertaining, with some of them recorded multiple times based on the gender and background of your character. And I think you'll really find yourself wanting to talk to everyone in the game about everything you possibly can, since every discussion is equally interesting.
You want me to arrest you?
I want you to try.
Add that level of intrigue to the beautiful in-engine cutscenes that play out within story missions, and we've got one of the most gripping narratives yet seen in the current generation. BioWare has created a very intriguing universe to explore here. There's an astonishing amount of detail to everything from the weapons and ships to the history behind every race and culture you'll encounter in the game. This solid foundation of backstory and multiple layers of explanation provide Mass Effect with a level of realism that few games ever achieve. The handful of main story missions, surrounded by a multitude of side missions, offer any gamer a good 30-hour gameplay experience. Missions can be as simplistic as delivering a message from one person to another, or as complicated as trying to find a missing piece of equipment in an expansive wasteland. Any given mission could simply take you from one section of a space station to the next, while others require that you cross the entire galaxy in order to complete your objective. While the optional quests available on the main story planets are all enjoyable adventures, some of the lesser missions on barren planets in some obscure corner of the galaxy can feel a little boring and repetitive, even in spite of the ever-present epic scale of every environment in the game. It's entirely possible to beat the game without completing any of the side missions, but the experience required to level up your character becomes reason enough to do some exploring beyond the main quest. Most of that exploring will be done in the Mako rover, an all-terrain moon buggy with jump jets and an 150mm cannon. It's not exactly the coolest ride you've ever seen in a video game, but it'll get you where you need to go, whether it means climbing the side of a mountain or blasting your way through an entire army. Experience can be gained through detailed conversation as much as blasting your enemies into atoms, and even the occasional hacking, which really boils down to pushing the right button at the right time. With each new level, you'll gain skill points, which are used to upgrade whatever skills you so choose. Managing your skill points becomes a tactical decision based on how you want to play, and you'll need to make as many difficult decisions here as in the pivotal points of the story. This system of customization might seem a little feeble and pathetic to most RPG fans, but the simplicity also makes Mass Effect more accessible to the casual gamer. Combat will be your main source of both experience and new weapons and armor, which you can automatically salvage from dead enemies. Armor can be modified with upgrades that increase your speed or accuracy, as well as your ability to soak up damage. The inventory, which isn't very user-friendly, can only carry 150 items between weapons, armor, and upgrades, but if it gets too full, you can always sell off the items you don't want to various vendors around the galaxy. Your two main tools of destruction will be guns, and then the more interesting biotic powers, which give a nod to the Force powers in Knights of the Old Republic. Based on what combat class you choose at the beginning of the game, your Commander Shepard can be a trigger-happy soldier that only uses guns, a biotic casting adept that uses no guns, or a hybrid of the two that limits your options to only specific guns and biotics. Biotics definitely make the gameplay more interesting than simple shooting, but the guns can also be upgraded with different types of ammunition to give them more interesting effects. There's a limited cover system available, simplistic squad commands, and even a weapon selection screen you can use to pause the game in the middle of combat. Some elements of action in Mass Effect might also seem a little shallow to action gamers, but this is an RPG. It might take a little trial and error to manage everything in a way that best suits your playing style, but once that happens, you'll instantly realize how fun this game can truly be. I never thought it possible for a developer to create an entirely new universe with such a gripping sense of awe and wonder in one of the most overdone venues in the industry, but BioWare has definitely accomplished this. The streamlined art direction and awe-inspiring style are just the beginning of what becomes a deep and compelling science fiction journey, which stands virtually unrivaled in today's market. Commander Shepard is a character you can truly become, and Mass Effect is an adventure that you can truly make your own. That is what makes Mass Effect worthy of your time.
We organics are driven by emotion instead of logic. We will fight even when we know we cannot win.
You alone survived. You will continue to survive.
He won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the face of the galaxy.
I'll stop him. Embrace eternity.
The cycle cannot be broken.
Join us.
I'd rather die than live like that.
Then you will die. You will all die.
We are the end of everything.
Let's end this!
Perhaps there is still hope.